So, Pokemon Generation 7 is coming up, but we don't know what the starter Pokemon are going to be. I'm sure there's going to be tons of speculations within the next month or so as to what they might be like. I want to just rather talk about the starters that we've had. So, I have 3 different friends. The one girl, she always picks the fire-type starter, regardless of what it might be, regardless of what it's going to be, what potential it may have, always the fire type. She says she'll never diverge from that. Likewise, another friend, he says he'll always pick the grass type because the grass types are the best. That's just simply how he puts it. And he predominantly raises grass Pokemon over other types. After that, he raises dark. So that's just his preference, really, that he likes dark and grass. So, of course, Shiftry is one of his favorites. Now, of course, friend number 3, he picks the water type all the time, but for him, he picks the water type, whatever the tiny bird for the region is. He'll get Onyx and a dragon, and he'll only have that team of 4. But again, he always picks the water type. Now, much like the female friend, I used to always pick the fire type. So starting with Pokemon Blue, I picked Charmander, thinking I could get, that cool looking cannon turtle somewhere in the game. I had to trade that from Pokemon Red along with a Bulbasaur. Because I thought Nintendo would never make a game in which we cannot get everything in the game as freely as we would like. And yes, I realize the glare is really bad. So there was that. Then, and I was always very happy with Charmander. It made the game much harder, obviously. But, and when it became Charizard, I thought, oh cool, I have a dragon, until I learned about the game's 3 hidden dragon types. In fact, not even Gyarados is a dragon type. That's so weird. But then, when I saw the scans for Pokemon Gold and Silver, in fact, I saw it in a trading card magazine where they revealed they were going to have 2 new types. Steel, I think it was Metal, the original translation. Metal and Demon, which we know now is Dark. And they were showing various Pokemon. They were showing Steelix, and I thought, oh, cool. But eventually we did see the starters, and, when they were talking about the moves that, Hino Arashi, which we now know as Cyndaquil, and I probably said the name wrong, but yeah, it said its move was Burning Wheel, and I was like, ooh, it had a signature move of Burning Wheel. It wasn't actually a signature move, because I believe, Rowlet learned it as well. But yeah, and Totodile didn't, and, Chikorita didn't really appeal to me either. But Cyndaquil was pretty cool. Actually, I had a female one, and they said that they evolved, there was a happiness stat that's hidden, and that this was also mostly just for Eevee, but Blissey was attainable that way as well. So, since I had a female one, and I did not know it was hard to get a female starter at the time. It's a very low percentage. I like to believe that because they said if you were an opposite gender of your Pokemon, it would grow to like you faster. I had a similar relationship as Satoshi had with his Bayleaf, in that it was very lovey with him. Except, it was cooler with me because I had a Typhlosion, and I actually beat the Pokemon League. Then I got, let's move ahead, Torchic, and it was a humanoid phoenix. So that was pretty cool. I was very excited about that. I was like, oh, I didn't care that it might be a fire flying type. I thought it was pretty cool that it was a humanoid phoenix, and that was pretty, neat. And Blaziken is still one of my favorites. And in fact, I will try to use Blaziken as often as I can, even if it's not the best firefighting combo. it is still, you know, one of my favorites. I just happen to like it. So when they announced for Diamond and Pearl that there would be a monkey, a turtle, and a penguin, I was looking at that turtle. He looked pretty good. My friend, who always likes to pick the fire type, said that Chimchar was indeed superior because it has superior stats, it can be an overuse, had a better move pool, blah, 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 blah. It was a firefighting type, and I didn't want to have the same experience twice as I had with Blaziken, even though, you know, Chimchar does have a different moveset. It's a little bit faster, but it was still essentially the same experience. So, for Diamond and Pearl, I picked Turtwig. I broke my trend. I picked Turtwig. Turtwig looked pretty cool, and I was very happy with its evolution into Torterra, and the way I looked at it was, I already have a fire type that I can use. I'm going to use a Blaziken when I get a chance, because that's my favorite. In fact, I try to use it as my fire type when I can. But Sinnoh didn't offer many fire types, and when I got to the Pokemon League, I was like, I don't have a fire type in my party. And the first member you fight uses bugs. Now, I could have used my flying type, I could have used my Staraptor, but I felt I was going to need something with a fire type attack, at least. And this opened a venue for me to use a Pokemon. I usually like to use only the newest Pokemon for that generation. So this was the second time that I broke my mold, and that I went with Meditite because I never trained one before. And I knew I could teach it Fire Punch, and it had huge power. And I had to say, it was a pretty fun experience for me to have to use, you know, an older... It changed how I did things. But then, what came next? Black and White. Once again, the fire type is mixed with fighting. And Emboar just didn't really do it for me. And then Snivy into Superior just didn't do it for me, but Oshawott into Samurott with the shell blades. Oh, that was so awesome. And it's based off of Samurai. I love Samurai. That was really cool. Like, I enjoyed having that. And now I had a triangle, so I could use 3 different starters and have the 3 different types. I just kind of wish Samurai at least had a secondary type, but just being regular water is good too. It had some cool moves. I like using Razor Shell because it has a chance to lower defense. It has Aqua Jet, and it has a fighting type move, if I recall. Superpower? No. Some fighting move. I can't remember. I think I eventually taught it Brick Break, or maybe... But yeah, you know, and I was actually pretty surprised in picking the water type and how much I actually enjoyed using it to get through the story of the game. That first gym leader, though, that was weird, and it was kind of nice that the game offers you a chance to get a type that could be super effective against the gym leader. Like, they'll just give you one of the monkeys that the gym leader uses, because there's 3 first gym leaders. So, where did that take us next? I think for Black and White 2, I decided to give Tepig a try. That's okay. But I was really mostly playing through that to get, you know, the fusion monster. But that generation didn't really do it for me. So now we come to Generation 6, in which, once again, I looked at it as... And remember, they told us nothing about Generation 6, so... I didn't know what to think of the starters. I just looked at it. Chespin, Fennekin, and Froakie. I went with Chespin. Granted, Greninja is really cool, and I think when I played through why I selected it, like, Fennekin becoming a fire psychic type, that's pretty cool. I do like that type combination. I'm just not feeling the Mafoxy. Or the Braixen. Yeah, Braixen is the name? Yeah. I'm just not feeling it. It just looks like... To me, the starters should be a little more neutral, and that just seems like it's a little more girl-friendly. Granted, I think it's supposed to be based off of a witch, which witches are female, men are warlocks, so that's all fine. But still, I guess if they want to appeal more to female players, they have to make more female-friendly Pokemon, but they shouldn't make them so girly. Just my 2 cents. But yeah, and as it evolved, it became Chestnut, and it was a grass fighting type, and I was like, it's kind of like it could be a training partner for my Blaziken, because I do think that way. But then the Mega Evolutions came out, and there was the DLC of the Torchic that was holding a Blazikenite. So I got to have, you know, a Torchic that would become a Mega Blaziken. And, of course, you know, they offer you the Kanto starter, so now I got Charmander again. Like, I had, you know, and it was kind of like, okay, I can have Mega Charizard X, because I played the X version. I chose the X version because I looked at it as, that reminded me of the Forest Spirit from Princess Mononoke. That's how I made my choice. And I didn't know it was a fairy type, I didn't know what type it was, I just said, Forest Spirit from Princess Mononoke, that is what I'm going to get. So, come on, I'm sure other people have different choosing methods that are far stranger than what I do. Or maybe they use a coin toss app on their phone. Actually, because I saw there was a coin toss app in Diamond and Pearl, I looked it up in the Play Store, and there is indeed one. And yes, I do use it, and yes, it's on the phone that I'm recording with this with. But yeah, that's how I went through picking my starters. You know, I'm sure some people just kind of go, okay, which one looks cool, or they research heavily. I used to pick, because they would tell us all the monsters, and because they didn't do worldwide releases, I used to pick my team and try to pursue getting those monsters before I'd even play, like, as I was playing the game, so that I had my team all planned out. I had a strategy. With X and Y, I could not do that. So, you know, using chespin was a very pleasurable experience until I got to that fairy gym. You know, Fire Arrow? Yeah. Or had to evolve because, no, not Fire Arrow. Not Fire Arrow. I am really bad with the Pokemon names. I am 33. I am bad with names with people, and now there's 800 of these little fuckers. Oh, 800 of these Pokemon. I am sorry for cursing. It's really hard to remember a lot of their names, and like I said, Black and White, I just don't remember many of them. I know a monster when I look at it, but sometimes I know the Japanese name, sometimes I know the American name. And that's something, you know, there's so many. I won't be a Pokemon master for that. That's for damn sure. But yeah, I had to just try. And it was kind of fun just going at it with a monster I knew nothing about. There was a lot of selections between the monsters we could pick from the start. You can be nostalgic and go with a Rattata. But, come on, the Bunnelby, but yeah, and using Chespin, Quilladin, and then Chestnut, that was pretty cool. I just wish its signature move wasn't a shield. I get what they were going for, but that grass shield just, like that whole, I'm using grass shield, it's like protect only, there's some rebound damage. Like, they couldn't have given it, like, a thorn weapon, or, like, even a grass-type version of Spike Cannon, because, like, Greninja's Water Shuriken is pretty cool, and I'm sure Breakson. Yeah. Like, that's how much I did not care about Fennekin. In fact, I haven't even legit raised one. You know. So, down below, share your stories with me about how you picked your starters. Another friend of mine has said that she won't use the starter. She gets it a Pokemon, because she feels she's forced into using that Pokemon, and she does not want to be forced into using that Pokemon. So, again, that's all different ways about how we go about our starter Pokemon. So, share your story with me about how you pick your starters. You can follow me on Twitter. You can follow me on Facebook. You can see the links below if I'm linking them correctly, because I don't know what I'm doing, apparently.